Hello and welcome for another video, and we're going to be discussing the Washington football team, as well as addressing what the team president Jason Wright had to say about the Washington football teams in terms of the future and the name of the Washington football team. Will it remain the same? What is the time frame that we can expect in terms of just when we'll find out the new name? What does that look like? And also a name that they've completely eliminated in terms of a potential name, so we'll just recap all of that, get you guys up to date in terms of where we stand right now with the Washington football team and the future of the name of that team. Obviously, this team, has undergone a lot of change in terms of the culture, and they're continuing to still change to try to make improvements. That part right there, it's definitely been evident to us over the past, say, 9 months. So I'll go ahead and get to the article, but really quickly, if you guys haven't already, do consider subscribing. That's the best way to help the channel grow, and therefore you guys will be up to date whenever I drop content regarding football, basketball, even some college sport news as well. So definitely do consider pressing that subscribe button if you haven't already. And that being said, definitely do want to hear from you guys in terms of what names do you guys like in terms of potential names for the Washington football team, or should they keep it the same? Definitely would love to hear from you guys. But with that being said, let's go ahead and tackle the Washington football team here. So during the president's weekly brief, he goes on to state that since they made the decision to change their name, the past 9 months has given them a unique opportunity to reevaluate the organizational, in terms of who they are today, the path that they want to take in the future. And he says that a key to that determination is acknowledging and understanding their past. He says it's a chance to pretty much watch the film on themselves, not just through their own eyes, but through the perspectives of others. And he says that it's no secret that why they began this journey of finding a new brand identity is centered around, their old name, and its use of Native American imagery and racialized language. He says that though he wasn't there for, the rescinding of the name, he believes it was done in good faith, that the connective ties of the fan base runs deep, and that the deeply loved traditions and positive aspects of the identity can be preserved and even enhanced under a new name that does not offend any member of the community. So quite simply, it's the right thing to do. He says that they recognize that not everyone is in favor of that change, and even the Native American community offers a range of opinions about both their past, and path forward. But in the moment, it is important to prioritize the views of those who have been hurt by their historical use of the Native American language and imagery. And so he goes on to say that he wants to be clear. Moving on from the old moniker does not invalidate the poignant memories so many of the fans have loved throughout watching football. Heroes, in the burgundy and gold. Those are moments to cherish. And he says that we need to help to ensure we preserve those memories under a new banner that should bring even more fans into the Washington family. He says, with that in mind, it is a priority to run an inclusive process to listen to all voices. He says that he's given particular emphasis to engaging, listening, and learning from Native American leaders and individuals throughout the country. He says this process has exposed to them the very deeply held personal feelings about their previous imagery and association, and not just the simple, easy to categorize who's for and who's against polling of their old name, but research revealing the psychological effects of Native American teams' names on American Indian and Alaskan Native youth. And so one of the things that I just wanted to go ahead and skip to is that he says, in spite of the encouragement, he wanted to address specifically the name that has emerged, towards their fan base as the Warriors. One might look at this name as natural and even harmless transition, considering that it does not necessarily or specifically carry a negative connotation to it. But he says that as they learn through a research and engagement with various groups, context matters, and that makes it a very slippery slope. So that is going to be a name that they are simply just not going to be utilizing in terms of a potential name. So they won't be the Washington football, or they won't be the Washington Warriors or anything like that. That is a name that they want to stay clear of. And so Yeah, they go on to state that in terms of the time frame that we should be hearing some type of announcement. I know early 2022 was mentioned, and so that's certainly going to be a time frame in which I guess they'll unveil next year the team's new nickname that they're going to have. And so until then, all we can do is really just wait and kind of just speculate. But it certainly will not be the Warriors, that is for sure. So yeah, they're obviously doing their research, incorporating a lot of feedback, particularly from Native Americans, to just try to make sure that they get it right this time and don't offend anybody. So we'll see what name they come up with, and hopefully it'll be a name that we can all resonate with. So we'll have to stay tuned for that, though. And obviously, that makes it kind of difficult rooting for a team knowing that the name's going to change. Sometime within the next year. Certainly, you would think that by now they would have picked a name, but I certainly understand the importance of making sure they get it right. And so that is the priority right now. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for joining me for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and like I said before, if you haven't already, be sure to press that subscribe button and look forward to seeing you guys next time.